Greetings, greetings, greetings. I have to smile, 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 smile for the camera, smile for the camera one more time. So, yeah, today before I lose track of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about today. We're going to talk about the best job that you can ever have. The best job. So King David, I'm King David right here again. I have not been doing much of a recording over the past week. I think I may have slipped up some, but here's it that I am again. We can't stop because, like I'm telling you, the best job. Give thanks to Benjamin's and its healing oil, promoting Benjamin healing oil. If you need Benjamin healing oil, it's a very positive, uplifting, energetic essence for rubbing self for you from your foot to your head. Healing oil, we have the oil of peppermint. There's eucalyptus in this brand also. And then there is the Benjamin healing oils. I use it every day personally on my head, between my groin, on my feet. Yeah, the healing oil, not the peppermint now. The peppermint burns. So, the peppermint is for a daily dosage of, nose and nodes, what we call, what they call these things on here, tonsils and stuff like that. I think they refer to them as nodes. They're all over. You rub some essence of eucalyptus and healing oil. Beautiful. If you could combine all three and utilize it to rub on your joints, it's just a beautiful thing. But yes, I'm here now to say the best job that you could ever have is speaking. And speaking means the word. And the reason why I'm going to tell you this is because speaking is your creative. Speaking is all of us creative. And we have the magical creative in all of us. But some people are shy to speak. Some people don't want to speak. Some people don't have enough information to speak. Some people are not aware of what, that words are. And so they're afraid of speaking, but they're speaking within all of us. All of us has the ability to speak. I used to admire anybody who, take the opportunity to speak as a YouTuber. That's residual income right there. Just speak for speaking sake. Speaking by putting out information that you have out there. There are various different areas that you could speak and speak about and, speak into. Because remember now, speaking is your magic. In the beginning, I must remind you again, like the Bible said, that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the same came down, manifest into flesh. And so the flesh that you're looking at, we are the Word. And so if you are the Word and you have the ability to speak the Word, your Word will be your manifestation, your magic, your creation. So the best thing that any one of us could ever do is to speak the Word and speak the good word, speak the productive word, speak the creative word of goodness. Because you could create either way, create into destruction or create it into elevation, which is goodness, into your higher self, into balance. Yes. So the word and granted, we have all these, media platforms that we can utilize to put out there. Some people will be speaking a lot of BS, what I would refer to as BS. They might call my thing BS too. But, they speak negativity. I'm speaking positivity according to what I am believing and I'm knowing. So I'm speaking this, but plenty of people don't want to hear the positive. They want to hear the BS every time. And so they're promoting that too. Because even for myself, I have a YouTube channel now, which I am going to upload this video to. And I have 27, 28, 29. It's growing. It's growing, so I must be thankful and say, the first shall be the last and the last shall be the first. We're in the last position. Nobody wants to listen to us because, our message is not popular. Yeah. Because it's a benevolent message that is trying to bring about peace and equality and justice and love and bringing back harmony within, the cosmic order within this platform and within this hemisphere we call the earth, within this region. And so, yes, if a little old guy like me from a little town that a lot of people know, oh yeah, that's David, man. That's King David, or that's whatever they know me as. But I am promoting goodness. I'm promoting peace. I'm speaking into the atmosphere and say the things that we ought to do is to be, geared in line, in harmony with peace and order and balance back onto this plane, onto this planet. And in so doing, we are going to speak of our experiences. We are going to speak of, relationships. Because you see, even though I know it was important to speak and used to speak, whenever I get the chance, but I never sought purposefully and religiously to do a platform like now I'm doing 30 minutes videos to be posted and uploaded onto YouTube, and having the ability to focus and to still speak about the things that are very important to me and what I am experiencing. So I'm actually sharing my life's experience with you, because I'm having both this physical experience in life, and I'm also having this spiritual experience in life, and it's a balance for me. Now there are a lot of people who are going through a whole bunch of physical issues, and they are more inclined or accustomed to living in that addictive physical lifestyle. Like, for example, if they go to work or go to church or go to any activities, that is their lifestyle that they're accustomed to being in, to survive this plane. Because a lot of people just like are in survival mode, where they go to work, they follow the system, they do whatever the codes are, and they're aligned, they make some money, they live in comfort by having a house, air condition, and that kind of stuff. And at that level, they operate. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that level. You see, but there are different levels. There are some people that are at the level of living on the street. At one point, I took myself off the grid. I'm trying to reintegrate into society again, where I am trying to learn these things, learn how to manipulate money, because money is important in the society. Some people have to go to work. That's how they manipulate or earn money. When I'm saying manipulating money, know that it's a frequency, know that it's an energy, know that it's a mindset, and know how to operate within that which you have until you can develop other areas and other means of residual income, because it's just paper. It's just, utilizing it to operate within this plane. And sometimes when you have an abundance of it, it makes your comfort life easier. Comfort in that, if you desire to live in a house and drive a big, pretty car, the more money you have, you can do that, right? Now, there are money for other purposes. People desire the most money to fight war. So they build weapons of mass destruction and nuclear armament all over this globe, or they promote and propagate that kind of rhetorics for, you could see when, to me, if I had all of those type of money, an abundance of money, I would be diverting it to peaceful causes, maybe to housing, to feed in the nation, for certain kind of development, for certain kind of, training. Yeah. So that, we could operate within a society that is going to benefit the masses and all. Not only beneficial to a few people who are accustomed to having loads of money and golds stashed away while the rest of the world is starving. No. So money to me, in my God mind, in my king mind, is to say, if that is accepted as wealth exchange, then let everybody have it. Everyone should have it, because it is the birthright of all of us to have these abundance and the luscious things of the earth to enjoy in health, peace, and harmony. You're living, in your age, and you're in your mental capacity to think and do things and enjoy life and still function within the society. The society somehow, kind of stereotype age and put it in another box and another category. Like for myself, I'm going into 60s and over according to their time plan and age. Yeah. And usually people start to settling down. No, don't stereotype me like that. Why do you want me to settle down when I have a voice? I have a voice of wisdom to speak. So I'm saying, at my age, I am employing myself. I don't want to be employed by anybody as such. It must be something that I volunteer to do or in alignment with. And if if you feel the necessity to pay me, then yeah. But there are other things that we could do to make money, like for speaking, like I'm saying, speaking and putting your content. I am making 30 minute video content, and I'm going to post it on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all these other areas. Now, it's good to learn also. I have not been doing this. I have not been speaking. I have not been consistently putting out YouTube video. But now I am saying that I'm going to be purposefully doing it. I pledged the other day that I was going to do 2 hours, which I have not been fulfilling. But at the same time, I'm still going. I pledge. So maybe at some point in time, I might have the ability to set, a 2-hour system, because you see, that was speaking it into the atmosphere. We're all doing that. We're speaking what we want, what we desire. I speak that, I want to have a platform by, 2030. I want to have 1 million viewers and subscribers onto my channel. Yeah, and so, if I stop now, I'm not going to, because I stopped. So I'm going to keep going until 2030. I'm going to keep going until 2030 and continuously think it in mind, believe it in mind, and say yes. So I want a platform to speak, and in speaking, I can write, I can do. So, it's for me to purpose in myself and don't lose track. Be consistent with the speaking. I admire somebody who, will take the time. See, I'm taking my time and my energy to speak into the atmosphere, to speak into YouTube, to speak onto the, the media, so that it could go out there and someone will be able to see it and get some kind of upliftment energy from this, some kind of activating energy, some kind of enlightening energy, some kind of educational, beneficial energies from what I am saying eventually. And like I'm saying, no, we are in the background and nobody's watching our video right now. But yes, you will be watching my videos, like I said, because I'm saying it to you that you're going to be watching these videos, see? Yeah, and it's an adjustment for a whole bunch of people, especially those who want to be awakened, because we are given the peaceful, Christ-like awakening message. So it's for Christians, it's for Muslims, it's for people who are non-believers. It's for people who just haven't heard this kind of message. This kind of message, a peaceful message, is one that will resonate with everyone, because it's a cosmic message of all inclusive of knowing where we are from, what we are, and how powerful of a being we are. And so if we are in that mental capacity to operate within that, within that space, which sometimes they'll refer to as crazy, yeah, then you will be able to acknowledge myself in respect and love. And likewise, but first of all, what you have to do first of all is to recognize that peace and love within yourself and know that you have the ability, and it is within you that the God is operating from, to know that you are a powerful, peaceful being if you want to, and you can also be a chaotic being if you want to. But it's for us to control that which is chaos in us, so that we could actually bear these fruits of righteousness and purity and peacefulness and forgiving and love. And if we are balancing in that high level of frequency, we'll find that then we'll accept one and all to come to have equality and justice and love and peace and respect. There's a world that can be operated as such. And I'm saying it starts within you. So if each and every one of us purpose in our hearts daily to just exercise minutes of this peace, love rituals that I'm talking, like speaking into yourself, bringing it out, declare and decree that you want to be, declaring and decreeing that you want to be that good, benevolent soul coming out in love, peace, and harmony. You can. Yeah. It's just consistency. If you're saying it and doing it, you're sowing the seeds, it's word. So that's why I'm saying to you, the best things you could ever be doing is speaking word, whether speaking words into yourself, speaking word into creation, speaking word into someone else. We're speaking the word. Like for me, I'm speaking the word into million. I'm speaking out there into the cosmos. It's the word. Catch the word. It's a peaceful word. It's a beneficial word. It's a word that is uplifting and creative and powerful. And once you start getting the idea that it is these benevolent, each word, there's let me see if I could, slow down a little bit and actually have demonstration of example. Like one guy perform a I'm going to say an experiment, because sometimes when you use words ritual, people are sensitive to the type of words. So I'm going to say an experiment, because same thing, where they have, I think, two apples, and they were speaking negative words into one apple and speaking kind words into another apple. And so there might have been another one, but from what I can recall, there were these two. So the one that they were speaking the kind words into on a regular basis, that fruit continue to remain in freshness. You could see the freshness. But the one that they speak the bad negative words into, that sucker dried up in like 30 days. Yeah, like it just disintegrated and turned dark, real dark and ugly, and and dried up. It's going back into darkness, no light. So yeah, so let us not even associate darkness. No, even though I'm laughing, don't let us associate darkness with evil and badness, and because that stigma and a narrative and stereotype have been out there for a very long time. And just to let you know that everything came out of darkness, which is high carbon. Yeah, so the darker you are, you're higher carbonic, So yes, that's where melanated species came from. So like myself, that you see has some kind of different kind of complexion. Yeah, you could see that I'm a mixture of the predominant dark in me, and then there's a mixture of some kind of Caucasian somewhere here. But yes, speak the word, and be consistent with the word. So let's stay on topic of talking about speaking the word, the best job you could do. So for those people who are journalists, broadcasters, YouTubers, singers. Oh, can't even name a better example than singers. A singer is a broadcaster of the word in a very magical way, with harmony and rhythm and harmony. And when you're broadcasting the word with rhythm and harmony, you're magical. You're magical. You're using words to cast spell. You're magical when you're using words, synchronizing, symphonizing in harmony, symphony, beats and rhythms. Wave. That's magical. And so for those of you who desire to speak evil and bad at all times, when you're using your word, that's what you're creating. And as you're creating that within in somebody else's life, if you think that's what you're doing, you're creating in your reality. That's what you're creating. And I'm saying it is on you to at all times realize that's what you're doing, to purpose in yourself to create this reality of goodness. If you want goodness, create this reality of peace if you want peace, in your mind, in your walk. And so because we want to be the peaceful person, and then we see the faults in everyone, that when we blame, what we're actually doing is just realizing that it's in us just the same, and we are not trying to heal from it or accept the fact that it is us. Because like I'm saying, the way to remedy, if you find everyone is at fault, or majority of the people that you come into is not in alignment with you, that means it is your trigger, not theirs. It is your trigger. I don't like this person because this person don't like me. All right. The person doesn't like me. I don't care. If I have something to do or deal with that person, then I might show that respect. No, why am I conceiving that that person don't like me? Because I've never heard, and sometimes we say, oh, it's an intuition. Yeah. And the intuition is there to say, yeah, they might be of a different spirit from you. But once you see they have not taken the action to come out and speak to your face, that means they're not casting it on you. So even though they might be thinking in that form, until they're speaking it, like some people, would get mad at someone, and then they will say, I wish, or I desire that for you, or I hope that you regret, or you do, out of your anger and your frustration, then you're creating something on the next person. But I'm saying as you're creating something on the next person, you're creating it within you because it's your spoken word. So why would you desire to have your spoken word fulfilled as evil on someone else? That's not showing love. And that's what I'm trying to show you and to tell you. That's what you're doing. When you desire evil purposefully, whether out of anger or jealousy or whatever the emotion might be, when you're purposefully thinking, that idea of judgment on someone, yeah, fire. That's what you're creating. Yeah. So if you're gonna burn truthfully, because yeah, you could, yeah, just like how the Rasta man sometimes they burn fire, and they're burning fire for a rightful and truthful purpose. They are burning out inequality and injustice. Yeah, and what they see as sinful, so the Rasta man them burn fire too. Remember the God of the Bible burned fire, and the Rasta man can't do it too. Yeah, so but you can just burn fire on somebody who is not burning fire on you. You see? Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about in personal relationship now. No matter what. And that usually happen within family and friends and relationship, what we call love relationship. You break out of a relationship and then you desire all evil for that person. Why? And yeah, yeah, I can't see it. So yes, I'm going to stand within the stalwart self of peace and love and unity and know that for me, I'm always going to be forgiving. For me, I'm always going to be purposeful in saying that I want to love, I want to show love, I want to show peace. I am open. And there are many ways that we could show love and peace and acceptance and forgiveness and tolerance for other people's behavior and other people's ways. Because other people, you have to just see them as not coming up to your level. It's another level up here when you're able to be mature enough to say, you know what, I want peace in myself, I want peace in the world. So guess what, my thoughts and my mindset will be geared towards decision making where I will be able to masterfully create peace in my words, in my actions. And it's not a soft thing. It's not a soft issue. Yeah, I realize that when you gather too much anger, when you gather too much of this anger, you make rash and irrational decision. Spirit of the minute decision, and sometimes the decision is wrong. It sends you up into your emotional ways for you to start thinking in certain ways, and when you start to think, that's what you're creating. So and it could be sometimes maybe if your intuitives tell you certain things, maybe it could be, but it is saying that it's something to be rectified. No, it is discomforted sometimes to be in a position of not having your desires met or not having certain satisfactory normals that you desire. And as such, in that mood and that mindset, then you have to make decision. And like I said, all decision is based, I think, on people's ideas of survival. I have to survive. This is attacking me, or this indicates, or what I believe in. And so when you think that something contraindicate your belief system or your survival mode or your survival system, you're going to make a decision for survival. And making decision for survival, sometimes we don't think of the other person. We think of self. For self first, and so when you start thinking of self, then yeah, it's a physical thing, and it is natural. It is natural to go that route. And many people, I think, go that route and don't stand. But guess what? At the same time, I think we are monitored by certain kind of system, that if you allow certain kind of system to get, like, all right, like for me earlier, I was thinking that I was not going to do a video. I never had the unction, the energy. And even though, I had mentioned that I want to do 2 hours of video, I was just thinking that, the energy is not there. And so if you follow the energy, and if you instead of follow your will and your will to be consistent, then sometimes you realize that your energy is not aligning with that which you want to do. And when your energy is not aligning with that which you want to do, then you will fall off track. And like I said, the best thing that we could be ever doing is speaking. Having a way and mean to speak, to write, to sing, to talk. Speak, talk, same thing. Yeah. But, this is the best job you could ever have. And especially if you have younger ones that are listening to you. And so my thing, my message is also geared towards the younger generation. And that's why I think I resonate with them in accepting some of their movements, resonate with them in teaching them the knowledge of self, the knowledge of, the true history from whence, especially if you're a carbonated being, from whence you came from, the history, the true history of, the cosmic intelligence. Because that's where we have to go back to the true history of recognizing the divine feminine empress. No, that might be the first first time in this message that I'm recognizing the divine feminine empress. But at all times, if you purposefully listen to my message, you'll realize that I try to recognize the divine feminine empress in all, if not most, of my messages. Because that is from where all creation came from. And the fact that we are living in a paternalized, maybe that's the word, paternalized society, where the patriarch system of the masculine dominance and creativity and rulership is predominated. It's very pervasive in society, in the Bibles, and in our religions, and in all aspects of our life that we look forward to as something to be respected, and something that we look on as standard. And as such, the knowledge and the narrative of the divine feminine empress is like swept under the carpet, and is in its most secretive spaces. And even for us as male, divine, masculine, that are coming out now to recognize and to purposefully, accept and even pronounce the divine feminine to be first. Yes, it's a very powerful and beautiful thing, because that is where we are going to achieve our peace. So, as I am doing that, I'm also encouraging the divine feminine empresses that have gone awry, out of their way at certain level, maybe drop back to certain level, who have not recognized that they are the ones who are responsible at most times to help in creating the peace, the confidence, the love within your king, so that this whole hemisphere could be could go back into its peaceful mode. Yeah. And from time to time, those who desire to elevate in the male species, like, for example, in my experience, I realized that I naturally I'm transitioning from a relationship that I'm elevating into other areas of study and other areas of discipline, where I have to learn some of these things on my own. But that doesn't mean that I'm not giving thanks for the experience that I've had, that has helped me to be this person. Every experience I'm grateful for. And that is the reason why I'm saying that, sometimes you cannot look at a situation as you being the winner or wanting to be the winner. Sometimes you just have to accept that which is. You understand? And when you accept that which is, then you will understand from the perspective of what happened. And sometimes you have to take blame too. Like for example, like in the relationship that I had, I believe I have to take some blame too, because obviously I never satisfied the Empress, or she wasn't satisfied. Whether she wasn't satisfied, I personally never satisfy her in the way that she would have accepted comfort, then, I can't blame her for that. But at the same time, sometimes I have to look back and say, all right, in blaming myself, then I'm taking the responsibility to realize and know also what is necessary, what was necessary for them. For maybe sometimes there could have been something that I could learn or could have done. So in my upcoming relationship, or in the relationship that I desire to treat a divine feminine empress as with, as an empress, as a powerful being that I respect and love, then I have learned from that experience that maybe I have to bring, the healing part of me to know that, all right, if this is desire, for example, having a divine feminine empress in my past relationship, I never believe in like marriage, the ceremony, the conventional way, like going to the pastor or the priest or whoever it is that's in the government office to get people to sign. Because you see, when you do that, you're actually taking God out of your marriage, and you're going from man to government to woman, instead of from woman to God to man. You see, from woman to God to man, that's at the bottom. So you look at the triangular form, you have man over here, you got the woman down here, God in between, you got government up the top. So man go to government, go to woman, and they never go through God. And they say, oh, it's God. No, the government is operating for God. And so I've gone past my 31 minutes, my 30 minutes actually. So I'm in a zone. But yeah, truthfully, I never believe in that kind of marriage, and so we never did. Now, maybe she was thinking that I should have perhaps done that, based on the circumstances, and I never did that. But I think, where I'm concerned, there's no blame game, but to accept that, we made choice, and so that's a learning process too. We made choice to like get out of the matrix, and we never saw money as that important to like go get money. We were thinking that we could have lived off grid and we probably could have sustained that lifestyle, but the experience never lasted. And so at this point in time now, realizing that money is important, I'm out there. I'm on the on the search. Like Vibes Card, that's the money where you want, or where you do money where me want, where you do. And then I listen to Popcorn and say, one time for the real dogs, them way I hustle from day one, yeah. One day, man, I forget rich like Puffy and Akon. Get to youth want new money, man want new money, new, tell them a new money, man want new money, new. From a little bit, me tell myself, me tell me friend, me tell me sis, me have to be the best. Right now, the amount of money where me have is like a bees, them lock me down in a the nest. Bad man, I try put me to the test. At the house, pan the hill, I make them stress. Me love every time me collect a British debt. Enough, I send me text. Popcorn band for rich cause nanny and my wife. Any money I go flow for the rest of my life. Airport man ride a private flight. Drink and celebrate life. Whoa. One time for the real thugs, them way I hustle from day one, yeah. One day, man, I forget rich like Puffy and Akon. Get to youth want new money, tell them a new money, new, man want new money, get to youth new money, new, oi. Yeah, and so, the king again is coming to you and tell you that the words are powerful. So when you hear the man, they like Popcorn and preach the words until they say, want new money. And getting new money, the man, they're king. They're using their magic. They're using their words. And so now I'm using my words to put this on platform to let you know this is King David speaking. And I have the same intention of getting new money, more money come so we can do more peaceful things. And that's why we say purposefully today and ever after. Because it's we who have the will and the purpose to do the right thing, is going to have the money to help to do it. And so we speak it, and so shall it be. Ashe. All right, King David coming to you. I'm out.